Hi everyone, so this is my first tutorial and this is about React and TypeScript and how to efficiently draw on top of canvas in JavaScript. So I was thinking what will be like an interesting topic for the first tutorial. So what came to my mind is that I had this short demo about automatic wall detection in top of TensorFlow framework, and in that demo there's also a short shown how the walls are drawn manually. So I was thinking that might be something interesting to show how that was actually implemented. So the setup is like this. So we will have the window is layout is shown here. So we will have the main part will be this canvas where all the drawing is shown and the image is visualized, and then we have this toolbar where we have the different kind of buttons and stuff like that. So that is what we are going to achieve at the end of this tutorial. So I decided that I will divide this tutorial in two parts. So in the first part we will end up having the layout and the image loaded on the layout, and then in the second part we will add the functionality for the button so that we can actually draw something and then zoom and pan the image. So this first tutorial we will be starting from the very scratch. So as mentioned, we will be using React. So earlier the recommended way to create the React application was this CRA, but nowadays the official documents suggest to use the NextJs, so that's what we're going to use. So let's get started and let's head to the NextJs homepage. So here we are at the NextJS homepage, so I will just quickly show kind of an intro to the documentation to make it easier to get started. So in the documentation side, there's actually two different kind of documentation. So one is for this newer approacher-based technology, and the other one is for these older pages like router technology. The recommended way nowadays is this default router-based based technology, so I will suggest to use this one. And then to get started on your project, you can simply go to the installation guide, and it kind of describes the minimum system requirements and stuff like that. But anyway, so let's get started with this project. In the Node version manager to handle my Node installation, so the Node version I'm having is the 18.18.2, which would be new version enough. So I will add a link to the description where you can find how to install the required Node stuff. But let's set up the project. So I will be using the create next up latest to create the project name, simple drawing tutorial, and I will be using the P and PM project manager. So the setup will ask some very basic questions like, would you like to use Cypress? So you can just use the default one for all of these, unless you have some specific reason not to. So just asking that whether we want to use the newer approacher technology, so yes. And nice, it will now install the dependency, so this will be relatively fast. Okay, and now we can see that we got the drawing tutorial named folder, and we can see that we have all the required stuff for initialization. So let's quickly try to run the default page, so we can just simply run npm dev, and we can go to the localhost 3000 and see how the page actually looks like. it will take us, okay, so here we can see the default page, what the project setup will give us. So we will start modifying this first by just clearing everything and by printing the default hello world on the command line. Okay, so let's start developing. So personally I like to use VS Code on my development. So it's completely free and it has very good seeking and navigation, which I think are the main points for me. And it also has a very good pack of extensions, but of course you can use whatever editor you like to use. So let's start by adding a launch configuration. So we don't want to run stuff every time from the command line, but instead we want to be able to run it directly from the editor. So let's add the launch configuration by creating this launch.json. So we can just put something here at the beginning. So we can actually just remove it and then go to the NextJs homepage and take the suggested launch configuration for NextJs. So let's take it here and just copy paste it here. Okay, and then we can just try to run the stuff. So we can see that it's doing the same stuff as in the command line, and it should open an extra Chrome window. Here. Okay, and now we can see the same start page here. So what we are going to do first is that we will simply clear the window and then print the hello world there. So let's start developing. So the NextJS app has this kind of folder structure. So the pages, they are inside this app folder. So here's the layout.tsx. So it's responsible for rendering the stuff given in page.tsx. So actually this is the stuff that you will be seeing that you just saw on the page. So let's just remove everything here like this, and then just simply put a label here saying label. Just missing this by hello board, and like this, and then let's see what's happening. Let's go with that. Let's start it again and okay, it kind of looks what we wanted. So let's just go to the developer tools and to see how the layout actually looks like. So here we can see the elements. So the body, it's actually very small. So actually what we would like to have is that the body would cover the whole window, but now it's just like enough to contain the hello world. So let's modify the style sheets. So here we can see that it's actually the global.css, where we have some general CSS styles. So let's modify this guy here. So personally I like to have the resources and all the style files in the separate folder. Or let's put here a new folder. Let's call it like resources, and let's add the global .js here, and then let's simply add this basic stuff for set the body to full width, like height 100%, width 100%, and margin to 0, and then some, let's just put the box sizing to border box, and that should do it. So let's see how our, and then let's use this styles instead of this guy here, so we can actually simply remove this to trash, and then let's go to the page dots, let's go to layout.tsx, and we can actually remove most of the stuff here, so let's actually use global, not like this, like .css here. We can then remove all this stuff here. Not sure if we need the metadata stuff, so let's keep it there. It's actually something in the wrong place, so and then you can also remove this stuff here. And let's see if we can actually see something here. Okay, so now we can see the hello world again, but let's now look about the elements. So so now the body actually covers the whole page as we would like to, and then the div is just like this. Okay, so now we have the very basic setup ready. So let's continue. Okay, so let's add the very basic layout. So if you remember, the layout was something like this. So we have the main window, and then we will have the toolbar at the top, and then we have the canvas then filling most of the window at the bottom. So let's add basic setup for this at the beginning. So let's add a new folder called UI, and let's put all the UI elements here. So let's add a new file called, let's call it like canvas layout.tsx, and because because we're using TypeScript and React, we need to have the tsx ending for the files. Okay, so let's create the canvas layout function. Here, so let's simply put here the first will be the div for the wall window, and then we will have a div for the toolbar, and then we will have a div for the actual canvases here, and let's add canvas here, and actually we will add two canvases on top of each other. I will explain it later more carefully, but we need it when we want to kind of dynamically draw stuff efficiently. So let's use this here, and then let's simply use this guy here on the page.tsx, so we can actually remove all this, and then we can, okay, so of course we need to export still the canvas layout so that we can use it, so export default canvas layout. So now we are able to export it. So let's import canvas layout, and then let's simply put here the canvas layout. Okay, and let's see how does it look. Okay, so we can see actually there's nothing here, but let's see how the elements actually look. Okay, so the body is again full bit, and then we have a simple div. Okay, I guess that's the main div, and then we have the div for the top bar, and then we have two canvases here. So okay, so we can see that this does not make much sense yet, so we need to add some style sheets here. So let's go back to the development window, and let's start adding some style sheets here. So let's add style sheets for the layout. So let's call it layout.module.css. So I like to use these modules. So in general, you can just import all the CSS using this kind of global imports, but it easily gets a bit messy. So that where do you actually get the stuff? So that's why I like to use this kind of module-like structure. So, but anyway, let's add the style for the main view. So let's put the box sizing. It will be border box, and then width. So we want to cover whole window, and height 2, and position is absolute, so it's not relative to anything. That's it. And then it's same for the top view of the toolbar. Let's call it main view top, and let's put width. We want to cover the whole width, but then here but the height, let's use 10%, so we don't we want the toolbar to be only like 10% of the height, and let's put some border there so that we can actually see something. So let's put border width, let's say 5 pixels, and border color, let's use simply something blackish here. Let's use RGB, we'll use something like 20 and 22, so this is almost black, and this is nice in this VS Code that it immediately shows what kind of color it actually is. Okay, and then let's push border style solid, and box sizing again border box. So this means that when box sizing is border box, it means that the component size, all the margins and padding and stuff like that are included, and then this position is relative to the main view content. And then let's put let's call it main view bottom, so this will be the view for where the canvases are lying. So width will be again 100%, but the height will be only 90%, and position is again relative. And then let's the canvas style here. So yeah, we will be using absolute positioning. So the top, so this means that the canvas will start from the main view corner. Left will also be like this, and then we'll use the width will be 100%. So this is not the 100% from the wall view, but 100% from the main view bottom. So that's good to know this. And also the height will be 100%, and the position will be using the upshot here. Okay, so let's see if it looks any better now. Okay, so we cannot see. Okay, body, so and div. Okay, so we don't actually see anything yet because we of course need to add the stuff to our canvas layout. So just adding the styles, it is not enough, but we need to actually use this stuff. So let's put a class name. Actually, we need to let's import first. Like, okay, because we're now using models, so let's use import like import styles from resources / layout model.tss, and that's it. And then simply class name styles.main. So this first div is the like the main div, and then the second div here is the toolbar. So this will be styles.main top, if I remember correctly. So it's gonna messy, so put it like this. And here let's this class name was styles.main view bottom, I guess. And then canvas was class name styles.canvas, if I'm correct, and the same for the second guy here. Okay, so let's see if it now looks makes any more sense. Okay, so now we can see that the nice border here to show where the kind of the toolbar will be located, and let's see how the elements look. So with the main view, it will cover the whole page as it should, and then main view top it's here, and then this doesn't look correct. It seems to be taking the wall. Wall bit which is not correct. Let's try to fix that one. Okay, so I guess the problem here is that there's just a typo here, so it's bottom here, and we are using the what was it? Yes, bottom. So most likely it just doesn't find the style sheet here. So the problem here is that okay, the top layout is okay, but then this div, like the bottom div, it's like dimension. It doesn't have height at all, and then the canvas like the wall. So I guess the problem is simply that it doesn't find the style sheet. So let's simply try to rename this correctly, and let's see if it has any effect here. Okay, so now we can see that it has dimension, and yeah, the canvas take the wall of that one. So okay, now it's correct. So let's continue. Okay, so let's refactor a code a bit into different components, so that makes more easier to interact with different parts. So let's simply add here a component for the top top menu here where the tools are. So let's add the file toolbar.tsx. So this is like a functional component. So let's declare first the toolbar props like this, and at this stage we do not need any properties, so then let's simply put like toolbar is props, toolbar props, and then simply let's return the same div as before. Class name is okay, but now we need to import the styles, so import styles from resources layout like this, and then it's styles dot top, and like this. Okay, so in modern React, the functional components are preferred over the class components. So whenever possible, you should like use the functional components. However, will be also using class component at some point. Okay, then we need to still export the toolbar so that we can use it in other places, and then let's simply replace this by the toolbar like this. Okay, and then we need to of course import the toolbar like this. Okay, and now let's see how does it look. So this will be okay. You can see that it looks exactly same as before because we simply refactor it. So yeah, there's nothing new here. Okay, and let's do the same also for this part here. So let's call this component name drawing canvas.tsx. Okay, and here we'll be using, actually we are going to use the class component declaration, and this will become evident why in the later. So we simply wanted to make it more easily to interact with the drawing part, but let's let it be like that until later. Okay, let's again declare the drawing canvas properties. Drawing canvas props. Again, let's put it just simply empty here, and then we need, because this is a class component, we also need the state. And we can put it simply like empty again. So we will later fill these props and states with something reasonable, but let's just put it like that at this point. Canvas, and this will extend the React dot component with the drawing canvas props and drawing canvas state. Okay, and then simply, okay, here we declare at private variables we will be using the same canvas references. So canvas with is like react.ref object canvas element. So we need these references so that we can later easily interact with our canvas, and then let's do the same for the dynamic canvas. Let's go dynamic canvas ref like this, and then constructor props are simply drawing canvas props, and then we need to always call the superclass like this, and then let's put at these points. We can simply create new references like React create ref, and same for this dynamic canvas ref like this. Okay, and then simply the render function will then simply render and simply return the elements like this. Where then now class name is done. Okay, we need to again import the styles. Import styles from not resources, not like this, and then styles dot main view bottom, and then let's put our canvas here like this, and then the class name is simply styles dot canvas, and then we put the reference here is ref is this dot canvas ref, and the same for the dynamic canvas. Dynamic canvas ref like this. Okay, now we got a lot of reds here, but let's see how does it go, and then simply let's close that div like this, and then close the render, and like this, and then let's export default drawing canvas. Okay, actually we need to import the React here. I think that's the reason for the lot of from React like this. Okay, now we get rid of those, but okay, so it seems we're missing something. Actually, this I guess this like simply the brown kind of like this. Okay, and then you simply canvas ref. Okay, and then okay, now we have no longer reds here. Okay, and then simply let's replace this guy with the, let's first import the drawing canvas. Let's put it here, drawing canvas like this. Okay, and let's see how it looks. Okay, and this is now with when we use the NextJs. So when we're using the class component, we need to by default it tries to server-side render it, but the class component can be only rendered on the client side. So we need to put this use client here. So let's see what it says now. Okay, and now that's Now it compiles, and now we can see that we have the exactly same layout as before. Okay, so let's continue and let's start adding the button, and let's try to get them some image drawn there. Okay, so let's first add a simple button on the toolbar and just let's try to simply write something to the console. So here we need to simply add a button here, so let's put it as, actually let's put it as an input like, and we need parentheses here too. This and okay, and then input, and the type will be file, and then let's put on change, and then we need to let's pull it handle make a file select. Okay, I guess we're ready, and then we need the handle image file select callback. So let's define that. So const handling file select. It's simply React. It's React change event input input element and it's type void. It's type void. Okay, and then let's simply put console log. So this is just a simple way to test that if this actually works correctly, or like that, or if the image is correctly called or something like, or if the handle is correctly called when we press the button. So let's see. There's some red coming here, so let's see what's actually the problem. Okay, it seems to be, it's again the same client server versus client-side rendering, so we also need to use the use client here. Okay, let's see now. Okay, and that's okay, and now that's what we wanted to see. Okay, and now let's see what happens if we press the choose file button. So let's select something. Okay, so we can see that it prints here and there, so our callback is called correctly. Okay, so now let's try to get the selected file to be drawn on the canvas here. Okay, so now we need to somehow connect this handle image file select to the drawing canvas, so that when the image is selected, it gets drawn on the canvas. So the way I like to do it, I like to use this create this kind of manager class, which is passed as property to the both toolbar and the canvas, and that's like the way to tie these two components together. But if you have any ideas or suggestions, if there's any other preferred way to do that in React, I will be glad to hear. But anyway, let's continue. So let's add the canvas manager class here. Okay, and it will be a simple JavaScript class. So class canvas manager, and it will have a pointer. This will have a pointer to our canvas, our drawing canvas. So let's put it here, and canvas, and it's of type drawing canvas, and it can also be like null, and then as constructor structure. Let's simply initialize the canvas to null here. And yeah, we need to use the this.canvas here. And then let's add setters and getters here. Canvas of type drawing canvas. Then simply put this.canvas is the canvas, and then let's put here called canvas data. So we so this will say what is like this, like a reference to the canvas, and then this set canvas data. So this will actually place the data, the image blob to the canvas that is after. So like this. So this will be blob or null, and then image blob is null, or this dot canvas is null. So then we can simply return, but otherwise let's call this dot canvas dot set image data image blob. And of course at this point we don't have this function yet, so we need to add it on our drawing canvas. So now let's add the layout canvas manager to the properties. So that's the way we get it there. So that will be of canvas manager. And it of course doesn't find it because we didn't import it, so let's import. But yeah, first we need to use the export default canvas manager. Okay, now we should be able to import it, and now it's okay. And then then now let's simply prop. So now when we want to link this canvas to the canvas manager, so we will simply use the props.canvas manager, the set canvas, and it will use this reference. So this way we can call add the reference to this canvas for the canvas manager, and then let's add the set image data type blob void. So okay, now we need also preferences fields to hold the image data. So this image data, so it's either blob or null, and then we have image, which is the actual HTML image element, or it can also be null. And then let's simply put this stuff. Image data is null by default, and this dot image is null by default. And then when we set the image data, we will simply put image data is data, and then the image will be new image, and then this dot image dot is rc is will be creating it from the image data. And then because it takes some time for the image to load, so that's why when the image gets loaded, we will be draw the image on the canvas. So we will be overloading the onload function using the lambda definition like this, and simply call this system. We will draw the image
let's draw image, which we are of course missing. So let's add the draw image here. Here, let's call it draw image. Let's type void. So then again, we need some null check keys. So if happens to be no, so we can simply return. And of course, if this dot image is null or image it's not complete yet, or for some reason the natural height is 0, so there's nothing to show though, then we will also return simply. And then now let's access the canvas. So canvas, it's a HTML canvas elements or null, and so it will be. So now we will access our canvas from below. So this will be simply this dot canvas retrov current. So this is like the React way to get the reference to the to the element, HTML element. And again, let's check if the canvas for some reason is null. So let's do nothing. And then let's put the canvas width correctly to the canvas dot client width, and then canvas dot height to the canvas dot client height like this. And then let's access the rendering canvas rendering context 2D or null with the simply canvas.get context 2D like this. And again, if ctx is null for some reason, then we will return, and if not, so then let's simply draw the image and no shifting like this. Okay, and and then let's modify the toolbar again, also to add the manager there. So this is again canvas manager, and let's simply canvas manager like this. And then in this handle image file, so let's call the canvas manager. So simply if the target.files is null, so let's do not do nothing, but otherwise simply let's call props.canvas. Okay, so we need to actually put this guy inside the toolbar. So now we can actually like this. Oh, so yeah, and then set canvas data dot target dot file 0. Okay, like this. Okay, so now we still need to add the actually pass the canvas manager to these elements. So let's go to canvas layout where we initialize these elements. So let's first create the canvas manager. So canvas manager will simply canvas manager of type canvas manager, which is new canvas manager like this, and then let's pass it the canvas manager as property manager, and same here, canvas manager like this. Okay, let's see, there seems to be something wrong, so okay, so I guess we need to still add the, okay, I guess this again, the use client is a bit annoying, so let's simply put the use client here. Okay, so let's see what happens. So let's open, okay, now we can see the image is shown here when we click the button. So yeah, okay, now we can see that this is relatively small, so the nice thing would be that if you would automatically scale this image so that it fills the whole canvas. So let's still add that at the end of this tutorial. So let's go back here. Okay, so let's simply add this kind of canvas transform class here. So in general, the canvas can be scaled or it can be and it can be translated. So let's add fields here to do that. Transform, and it will hold scale, which is number, and then it will hold translation in x direction, which is also number, and then dy, which is translation in y direction, like this. There's an unnecessary spacing here. Well, let's put it like this. Okay, and then let's set up the canvas, initialize the canvas transform kind of to default values. So this is simply scale. Let's put it to 0, so that corresponds to what we just see. And then dx is 0. So we haven't translated the image at all, and then same for y coordinate. Okay, like this, and then when we now place the image on canvas, we need to properly scale it so that it fills the whole canvas. So when we now got the width and height, so let's simply put here that actually yeah, so here we initialize this to -1, so this means simply that when it's -1, so this means that the user has not specified the scale, so it means that it should be uninitialized. So in this case we don't put anything here. So let's see, so this means that later we want to be able to also like zoom in and zoom out using the scroll, and in this case the scale will be something else than -1, and in this case we won't be doing this kind of auto adjustment. So we simply check that if canvas transform for scale, if it's larger than, if it's smaller than 0, so then we want to fit it on the canvas. So we will simply put this dot canvas transform dot scale is this dot depending on the image dot width. So yes, so if the image width is smaller, if the image width and both the con height is smaller, if the image dimensions, both dimensions are smaller than the canvas dimensions, so then we can scale it. So we don't want to like over scale it, so canvas.height. So in this case we will simply put like math.mean dot math.mean dot canvas dot width per it's dot width or be like that scale to the smaller difference between the width or the height. So it's dot height divided by the image dot height. This is a pretty long line, but anyway, so but if it's if either of the dimensions is equal to the canvas width, so then we simply put it to 1, and now we can simply set the scale for the CTX. So let's put the CTX dot scale this dot canvas transform dot scale. So we will do the same scaling for both X and Y directions, so that we don't get like skewed image. So let's try it now. Okay, choose file, and okay, and now we can see that we scale it to the canvas size. Okay, but that's all for this tutorial, the part 1. So in the part 2 we will add more functionality to the toolbar. So first we want to be able to scroll, zoom in and zoom out the image, and then translate it all over the place. And then we will add a simple draw line button here, which enables us to draw lines here. So yeah, that's about it. So I will try to get the second part of the tutorial published in a few weeks. So see you there, I hope. See you.